Hi, everybody. This is Deb Walthers from SkyTerra Technologies. I want to talk to you about an important update to how we share content in SharePoint that may have a big impact on your business. Now, we've always been able to share files directly with our external users, and that's about to change. They're moving away from linked-based access to identity-based access, and all this is to improve our security. So now external users are going to be added as a guest account to our tenant before we can actually share files with them. As a potential for access disruption if you're not ready for this. So adding a guest user is going to be depending on how your tenant is set up. If your tenant is set up with allowing anybody to add a B2B, external B2B guest user, then they'll be able to just share the file and that guest account will be created automatically. The guest user will get, when they click on the link to the document, they will complete their registration and then their guest account will be automatically created and all your shares will happen normally. And if you have existing shares right now, you can actually add those B2B accounts ahead of time and then you'll be good to go with the existing shares that are there. Now, if you have a stricter environment like we have here in SkyTerra, where we only have a limited number of people who can create those external guest accounts, then you're going to have to come up with a process. Somebody's going to have to request who you need to add to the tenant. Somebody from IT will have to add that person to the tenant. The person being added to the tenant will get an email from Entra letting them to finish the registration, or they'll also get that same access when you actually share the file with them. They'll also get that same link to register. Let me show you a quick demo of what this is going to look like. Normal, start from this. So in this example, I'm just going to add Joe Schmo. When I add Joe Schmo, it's outside my organization. I just click send. Behind the scenes, Joe's account is automatically being created as a guest B2B account, right? However, if I'm in an environment that is much stricter, you're going to be seeing this error message when you try to share out with Joe Schmo. And if Joe tries to click on an older link, he's going to get an access denied. So cost. So you get 50,000 active guest accounts per month. Okay. If you go over that, it's 3 cents per user per month, so long as you're still over that limit. So it's not too bad. Now, by setting this up, we're going to be able to set up conditional access on our guests. We're going to be able to do multi-factor authentication enforcement, which is a biggie. You're going to be able to do access reviews and auditing of these accounts, and you're going to be able to set up policies to delete these accounts. And that's a big one. A lot of times you set up guest accounts and you don't realize the person's left the company and they still have access to the content that you've shared with them. And this aligns with Microsoft's zero trust model. Really important. So by the end of July 2026, your old links are not going to work as is. You're either going to have to be setting up those existing accounts as those guest accounts in Entra. Now, if you have any questions, please reach out to SkyTerra. We can certainly help you with that. You may have to set up an internal process for adding those new guest accounts. And we've actually developed a solution for that. We have a form the end user fills out. We have an approval process on there. And then once it's approved, the account is automatically created and the external person is notified. So check out SkyTerraTech.com for more information. Thank you.